Part 1. Aston Martin's comeback, and Alonso's bold bet you wouldn't. Expect a lighthearted bet to become the center of attention in a high-stakes racing season. But that's exactly what happened with Fernando Alonso during the Canadian Grand Prix weekend. After several races where Aston Martin couldn't quite keep up, things finally seemed to be moving in the right direction. Thanks to some technical changes, the car is performing more steadily, and Alonso has been finishing more, often within the top 10 again. That consistency has brought back not only his speed but his confidence. Fans are starting to notice a shift both on and off the track. During a relaxed interview in Montreal, Alonso shared a funny exchange with a journalist. They joked around and ended up placing a friendly wager. If Alonso finished on the podium, journalists would have to grow a mustache just like the one Alonso currently sports. The stakes weren't high, but the moment brought some humor to the weekend. In the end, Alonso didn't make it to the podium. He came home 7th, so the journalist avoided the new facial hair for now. But the joke didn't end there. After the race, Alonso brought up the bet again, more confident than before. He even suggested they keep it going. The journalist, laughing, said they might as well let it run until Alonso retires. But Alonso proposed something more specific, a deadline. He wants the bet to stand until the Dutch Grand Prix, and according to him, there's one place where he truly feels he has a chance to stand on the podium again. Silverstone, he was honest in saying the car isn't quite ready to fight for third or better just yet. But Alonso believes that the way the car's been improving, there's a genuine shot at pulling something off soon? A bold prediction? Maybe. But Alonso has never been afraid to aim high, especially when others are quick to count him out. Silverstone holds a special place for many drivers. But for Fernando Alonso, it's more than just another race. With the British Grand Prix around the corner, he's placing high hopes on this particular circuit. Why? Because despite knowing that Aston Martin's current setup may not be at the same level as Red Bull, McLaren, or even Mercedes, he sees something in the upcoming races that gives him confidence. Alonso isn't claiming that the car is suddenly perfect. In fact, he's admitted that right now. The Armada 5 still isn't built to challenge for a top 3 finish on most tracks, but he's banking on steady progress. The team's recent upgrades are starting to work, and while results haven't yet shown drastic change, the signs are there. Handling has improved. Balance looks better. And with more updates scheduled, the next few rounds could be make or break for their 2024 season. The British Grand Prix could be their best shot, especially if the weather plays its part. It's unpredictable rain, changing grip, and variable strategy. Calls have helped experienced drivers shine in the past. And when it comes to adapting under pressure, few drivers in the paddock are as seasoned as Alonso. Then comes Zandvoort, the Dutch Grand Prix, another track where things could fall into place. But even if Aston Martin's car isn't quite podium ready by then, the attention is already on that cheeky bet. Fans, media, and even rival teams are watching. Will Alonso pull it off and force that journalist to start growing a mustache? Whether or not he ends up on the podium again, this entire episode has brought something refreshing to Formula One. A bit of humor, a bit of flair, and a reminder that behind all the technical drama and championship points, there's still room for personality. Alonso's casual confidence, paired with his experience, is keeping Aston Martin in the headlines. Even when the car isn't the fastest on the grid, after weeks of unpredictable results and mounting questions about the direction of their 2024 car, Mercedes finally gave their fans something to cheer about. The Canadian Grand Prix turned out to be a turning point, at least for now. George Russell didn't just grab pole position, he backed it up with an impressive drive that saw him finish ahead of Max Verstappen, taking Mercedes to the top of the podium once again. This success wasn't random. In fact, there was a specific reason behind their sudden jump in performance. Team boss Toto Wolff revealed after the race that a key new component had been introduced, a redesigned rear suspension setup. This upgrade was made to solve a persistent issue that had been holding the team back for over a year, overheating at the back end of the car. This problem had affected both brakes and tires, especially during longer stints in warmer conditions or on circuits with tight, fast corners. The extra heat meant grip would fall off quickly, and the car's behavior would become unpredictable. But in Montreal, everything clicked. The new suspension allowed the W15 to stay within its optimal temperature range, giving both Russell and Lewis Hamilton a car they could push without fear of sudden drop-offs. Interestingly, Mercedes had actually been hoping for cooler temperatures in Canada, assuming that would help cover some of the car's weaknesses. But race day turned out to be warmer than expected, and the car still performed better than it had all year. And that, according to Wolff, was a huge confidence boost. It meant the new parts weren't just a one-condition fix. They might actually give the team a wider performance window. Of course, one good weekend doesn't mean Mercedes is back at the top for good. The track in Montreal, with its slower corners and hard-braking zones, may have masked some of the car's lingering problems. The real test is coming fast. While the team celebrated in Canada, Mercedes knows that one race isn't enough to claim they've solved all their problems. The next big challenge comes at the Austrian Grand Prix, held at the Red Bull Ring, a completely different type of circuit. Unlike Montreal's tight layout, Austria is faster, more flowing, and much harsher on aerodynamics and tire management. It's exactly the kind of track that's exposed the W15's weaknesses in the past. Toto. Wolff didn't hide this reality. In his post-race interviews, he was careful not to overpromise. Yes, the performance in Canada was a big step forward, but he emphasized that the team would need to prove their improvement. Across different kinds of circuits before drawing any bigger conclusions, there's also the question of consistency. Mercedes has shown glimpses of speed before, only to fall back in the following rounds. What they need now is a pattern, a string of results that show the upgrades are working week after week. If the changes made to the rear suspension continue to pay off and additional improvements roll out as planned, then the team could genuinely find themselves fighting at the front again. For now, though, the team is staying grounded. There's excitement, yes, but it's mixed with a clear understanding that one result won't change the standings overnight. The key for Mercedes is to keep building one race at a time. Russell's win has also brought attention to his steady growth as a driver. His handling of pressure in Montreal, especially with Verstappen not far behind, showed how much he's matured. He managed his pace, took care of the tires, and didn't let the heat of the moment get to him. It was a smart, composed drive, the kind that turns promising drivers into future champions. As Mercedes packs up from Canada and sets their sights on Austria, question hangs in the air. Was this the beginning of a comeback, or just a bright spot in a still uncertain season? Inside the garage, there's a cautious energy. The team understands they can't afford to let one strong result cloud the bigger picture. What matters now is repeating that form, proving that the improvements made are not just short-term fixes, but real steps forward in performance and reliability. If the car can hold its own at tracks like the Red Bull Ring, where speed, balance, and tire control matter even more, then confidence will start to build, not just within the team, but across the entire F1 paddock. But if Mercedes stumbles again, it could highlight the limitations they still haven't fully addressed. This season has been tough to predict. Red Bull, McLaren, and Ferrari have all had their moments. Now, it's Mercedes' turn to prove they're not just catching up, but truly back in the race. Russell's victory in Canada wasn't just another win. It was a signal. A reminder that when things click, Mercedes still has what it takes to compete at the sharp end. And with Lewis Hamilton still pushing and Russell hitting his stride, the driver lineup is more than capable of carrying the team forward. So is this the start of something bigger? Or just a peak in an otherwise rocky campaign? Only time will tell. But one thing's clear, Mercedes isn't backing down. They've taken a step forward, and now the real challenge is keeping that momentum going. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe Mercedes is truly back in the fight, or is there still a long way to go? Or stay connected for more real-time updates and breakdowns from the world of Formula. Oh wait, there's plenty of action still to come in this season. Is far from over.